Hello, everyone. This is Old School from WhatTheBuck.net with our Falcons preview. We have our existing NFC South bet on with outgoing 37, whereby if the Falcons win, which according to outgoing in the chat room Monday night, this is an absolute certainty, I'll have to wear the Falcons hat that I have sitting over in the pile of shit in the corner for a week and during all my videos. And if my Buccaneers are able to win, which we've only been able to do once this entire year, then he will have to wear a Buccaneers hat in shame on his videos. And that's the way we do it in the NFC South. We don't have a whole lot of action outside of the Panthers. The Saints fans are starting to come up a lot on YouTube, it looks like, which is cool. I mean, they got a hell of a squad, and they're coming out in droves. But there's still not a whole lot of Bucs action out here. Even back when we didn't blow ass, which we are right now, there wasn't a lot of us out here on YouTube. But with all that being said, that bet's on outgoing. I rocked a show tonight, Friday night at 10 o'clock. I actually ended up doing the 10:10 show this afternoon, so we did a late show. We did do a preview. There's a couple of things I want to bring up. Obviously, the Falcons coming in at 500. They're still very much alive in the playoff hunt, in the wild card race. I know our boy Nick thinks that the Panthers are as well. I think that's a little bit delusional. But you guys come in with a quarterback in Matt Ryan, undergoing a bit of a sophomore slump. He's already thrown for 12 interceptions this year, which I think is one more than he did all of last year. Though he is strong at home, 11-1 at home. The Bucs come in complete and utter disarray. We have demoted Jim Bates, which I mentioned on a previous video. Coach Morris is now taking over as defensive coordinator, which he was originally hired to be before he was promoted to head coach. We're hoping here in Tampa land, with our rosy pewter-colored glasses on, that this will be a return to some sort of an identity on defense, going away from that two-gap scheme that Coach Bates had implemented that we never particularly adopted particularly well. Going back to a one-gap scheme, which is sort of the beginning of our front seven, our front four specifically. Hopefully that will allow us to play better against the run. We can't play much more poorly. When you look at the stats, Jesus Christ, our stats are pathetic. We're 32nd in the league against the run, 14th against the pass, but that's probably because why the hell would you pass against us when you can just run for 300 yards against us? Now, going against Atlanta this week, injury reports seem to say that Michael Turner will not play. Jurgis Norwood looks like he is healthy. Snelling looks like he's healthy. He had a good game last week. Your offensive line is beastly. I think they're a fairly dirty offensive line, but to be honest, I don't really care about that. I wish our offensive line was a little bit dirtier at time without getting the penalties. The running game is going to be your strong suit, regardless of whether Turner's in there or not. Now, the big wild card is what defense you're going to see. Are you going to see the same porous defense that was given up, let me see here, 168.9, I rounded it up, yards per game? Or are you going to see a Buccaneers defense that can actually tackle, a Buccaneers defense that can get to the ball carrier, hold him up, and then gang tackle and try and strip the ball, things that were the precepts of the Tampa defense since 1996. No one knows. Raheem Morris has been very tight-lipped. No one in the press is coming out with that information. So we're not really sure what you're going to see. Even as Bucs fans, we don't know what you're going to see. We don't know what we're going to see. I'm coming to Atlanta to see the game, though, and I know I'm going to hook up with Outgoing and All Gator over at the Atlanta Bucs fan tailgate. On our side of the ball, our rookie quarterback looked like a rookie last week. 3 interceptions. 2 of them were garbage. One of them wasn't his fault. Antonio Bryant slipped on a timing route. The third one was a Hail Mary down the end at the end of the game. But he did not have a particularly good game. Fumbled at an inopportune moment, giving the Saints a chance to go up to 24-7 and essentially end the game in the third quarter. Josh is going to have a bounce-back game. He's going to have to protect the ball. He's already had 7 fumbles in 3 games. It's not so much his passing that's been an issue. It's when he's trying to extend the play in the pocket, he's got to protect the football. Teams are starting to key on that and creating turnovers, and we've been fortunate in the fact that we've been able to recover most of them. Continuing on the offensive side of the ball, our receivers have been absolutely abysmal, but I do look to see Kellen Winslow focused on, hopefully Jeremy Stevens as well. He's another talented guy on the roster who hasn't gotten a lot of looks because our offensive coordinator is kind of garbage. But the Falcons, and this was brought up on NFL.com, have given opposing tight ends 666 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's a little bit of a creepy number for anyone who's religious out there. I don't happen to be. But I do think that the tight end is that joker position. Now, it's the same Achilles heel that we have beyond the running game. Our linebackers have not been very good in coverage. So going against Tony Gonzalez does not make me particularly happy this week because despite his age, he is still a flat-out stud. And Matt Ryan feels comfortable throwing the ball to him, and that's a good combination for a young quarterback. A tight end who can get open, is a big target, and then is a threat to make yards after the catch as well. When you get to the red zone, those guys are invaluable. And hopefully we're going to see sort of a seesaw battle between those two guys. Well, a couple of other interesting pieces we have that we've got going on from a Bucs perspective. Ernest Graham may get some additional playing time at the running back position. Playing on turf, Cadillac has played very, very well. Our running game has not gotten on track, though. Our offensive line has not been able to adapt to the zone blocking scheme. When I was talking to Jim Flynn from Pewter Report today, if you talk to the running backs, they believe we're playing more of a power man blocking scheme like we did when Coach Muir was the offensive line coach. If you talk to Coach Olson, the offensive coordinator, he believes we're still a zone blocking scheme team. That speaks to a lack of cohesiveness that scares the living dog shit out of me as a Buccaneers fan, and it should scare you as well. I wish I could say something that would scare the Falcons, but I don't really have anything to point to. We don't have anything that's particularly scary except for our special teams have been playing very, very well. Clifton Smith has played very, very well. He's a threat to take it to the house every time he's kicked to. In a dome, they should be able to limit those things. They should be able to control where the ball's placed on punts. They should be able to get good depth and minimize the impact of special teams. The only advantage we have coming in here is that we are playing for pride and nothing else. We have no dreams of the playoffs this year at 1-9. These guys are playing for a job. The Falcons are playing because they want to get into the playoffs, but they are probably looking right past the 1-9 Bucs that are coming in here. Now they're going to say that they're not, and that they've seen the tape and they've seen the Bucs be competitive with really good teams. They saw what the Bucs did to the Packers. They know that the Bucs can put this together. But when you play a team that is as bad on paper as the Bucs are, your natural inclination is to look past them. And to be honest, from a coaching perspective, this is an easy thing to do, in my opinion, if you're a Bucs coach. You can ruin someone's season, right? If your motivation isn't to get into the playoffs and make a Super Bowl run, what better thing to do than to ruin other people's seasons? All right, look at the Packers right now. If they hadn't lost to us, they'd be sitting fairly pretty. So if you can get in here to the Falcons and put another L in their column, not only do you have a little bit of bragging rights that you can look back on, but you had a chance to ruin someone else's season. And to me, that means something as an NFC South foe. I look to see Ernest Graham to have a much bigger impact on the game this week. When he did get a chance to carry the ball last week, he looked very good. He looks very fresh. We've got Presley coming in here as a backup fullback after losing B.J. Askew for the year. Hopefully we'll see Ernest Graham get the ball, whether it's as a primary back and a single back, whether it's the primary back when we're going to our trip set, or behind Presley as a fullback. I do want to see him get the ball some more because he looks very, very fresh. He's running with some strong, with a lot of power, which is deceptive because he's not a particularly big guy. He's also a significant threat as a receiver, and Josh Freeman, I think, needs to look to that. On the defensive side of the ball, I like to see Styles White, previously known as Greg White, come back into his own with the return to that one-gap system. I think playing on turf, that's going to give him an advantage with speed. He can get around the edge, and hopefully he can create some turnovers. That's really why he signed that big contract coming out of the Arena League from the Orlando Predators. He got the big contract after looking very Simeon Rice-ish in his first year, creating a lot of turnovers, stripping the ball, coming around the end. I like to see him have another big game. I'm concerned about John Abraham because he normally owns Donald Penn, who's our most solid offensive lineman. I'm hoping that Penn can turn that trend around this week and put up a good game. I think it's going to take a superior effort by the Bucs to be competitive. I don't think the Falcons are a particularly good team, especially without Michael Turner. I think they are, in fact, 5-5 quality, but that puts them 4 solid wins better than we are. So it's going to take an act of God for us to get in there and do it. But as a fan, I'm hoping that's going to be the case. Again, we'll be up there in Atlanta rocking the throwback jersey. So if you guys are out there, get over to across from Gate B, as I understand it. The Atlanta Bucs fans are having a big-ass tailgate. We'd love to see you guys out there. Make sure you rate the video, and we'll be back Monday night doing a post-game, hopefully a post-game celebration, and laughing at someone wearing a Bucs hat, which I haven't got to see all year. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on Monday.